Let's talk about self-belief. Hello race drivers, it's Enzo with the Race Driver Coach Show, and you know that today we're talking about self-belief, which has to be, well, it's one of the most popular topics when it comes to mental performance. Let's just get to the question that inspired this video. Here it is. It's from Dean, and he asked, I've had nothing but bad luck and bad results this year, and because of it, I've lost my self-belief. What can I do to get back to my former self? Now that's a classic example of a driver allowing their results to affect their mindset. Now if you're watching this, you're going to think, yeah, Enz, of course. Because if you have good results, you feel good. You feel on top of the world, it builds your confidence. And if it's the other side, you don't have the results that you want, constantly getting, you're disappointed, you're not getting what you think you deserve because you're working harder but the results are not coming in, then you're going to start to ask questions about yourself, your own ability, where you belong, and you start worrying about your career. Okay, that's if you do allow your results to have too much of a say on your mindset. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's where it really comes down to. When you go to a race weekend, you can approach it in different ways, right? If you're going there to win, and you've loaded up these expectations, I want to win, I want to peacock this weekend, I want to show people how good I am, I want to prove to people that I'm worthy of sponsorship and having a chance of making a career. If you go to a race weekend like that, you're putting a lot of weight on the results. And the thing is, when people do that, most often, it doesn't make them train harder and peel back the layers to what does that actually mean that I must do in order to create that result. Instead, they just go there, they do a little bit of prep, and they just hope. They give it everything they've got on the weekend, and they just hope it's good enough. And if it's not, they feel disappointed. If they then go to the next race weekend, come on, we can do it this time. I've done a little bit more prep, I've done a little bit more work, and they don't get the result they want, they get disappointed, and it stacks up, and it becomes pretty much a terrible place to be. You're not enjoying racing anymore. It's not giving you what you want because the results are not there. And then self-belief can take a knock, of course. Or you can go to a race weekend a bit like an inventor would, like Thomas Edison, right? You know that you've heard the stories of Thomas Edison, thousands of failures to come up with the light bulb. He failed over and over again, publicly, in front of all his associates and people that are kind of laughing at him thinking, you're actually going to do this? 14 months, I think it took. Constant experiments. Fail, 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 fail. Didn't lose hope. He extracted all he could from every single result, failure, if you want to call it that. I did this, I put this element in, this ingredient, this metal exploded, didn't even light, nearly set the workshop alight. Why did that happen? Write down the results. Interesting. Now, if you approach your racing with that kind of like an inventor would, and you go there fascinated in the result, you know that you're going to tick the boxes. You know that you're going to do the prep, do the sim work. You're going to try things. I'm going to try something with my braking this time. I'm going to try something with the team, to communicate to them how I want the car so it fits my driving style. Whatever it is, you're going to go there at a race weekend to experiment and then to put it out there to see how it goes in free practice. Take the result is just the end result, right? But take what built that result, have a look at it, see what needs to be tinkered with, see what needs to be changed, apply it now into FP2, or if it's a test day 2, or if it's qualifying. Take the result, extract, elicit everything you can from it, learn and apply for the next time out. That's all you need. And if the result is P1, great, something worked. Let's make sure we understand what worked so we can repeat it for next time. Can I repeat it for next time? Is it a different type of track? Blah, blah, blah. And you go into that. You go deep into the actual craft of being a race driver. And if it's P20, fascinating. Same emotions nearly. You can have the celebration when you get out the car, celebrate with the team. But when you get back down to work an hour later, same emotions. What can we extract from this P20? From this win? From this P12? From this DNF? I'm hungry for information for how I can craft myself into the perfect driver, which is kind of like impossible, but that's the pursuit. So if you get a kick in, you're way off the pace. Again, for the 7th month in a row, you've got to keep fascinated more than ever. Why am I so shitty recently? Or for this year? What is the missing ingredient? And you've got to stay fascinated, intrigued, just to find the right combination for you to unlock and go higher up the grid. That's what I'm not seeing people do. Drivers, people in life, they take a kick in. They go bankrupt, their business fails, they lose their job, relationships, another one's gone down the pan, and they look at themselves and say, I'm not worthy. And that's the problem. The ego gets involved. As soon as it associates, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, he or she is better than me, and it's like a pecking order thing, like it was at school. As soon as you fall for that trap, again, if the results are not there, your self-belief, your mind is going to say, maybe I'm not that good. And that's it. It's pretty much game over if you play that game. I want you to be at peace, and I say this a lot, right? A lot of these things I'm really saying it over again. I want you to be at peace for being P20, at peace when you're P1. And don't feed the ego, just take from it. If you do that, and you really do that, you care less about what it looks like on social media. You care less about what your dad says, because now he says we're pumping in all this money and they're still not getting the results. That's the noise that needs to get out the way if you want self-belief. Because self-belief is just you allowing yourself to be you. To say, come on, you can do it. You're the coach that's inside your head. You've got to, basically your happiness is dependent on what you focus on. It's your perception. So if you do go to a race weekend and you become more turned on by you, switched on, should I say, by you executing, by you finding that gap in qualifying, warming the tyres up correctly, you get really fascinated and you congratulate yourselves for those bits, or understand if you didn't fulfill those bits. And then the result is just a result of. If you go with that kind of angle, that approach, you can't lose. It's impossible. You finish P20, you're going to get stronger. You finish P1, you're going to get stronger. What other people say doesn't really matter. You're on your own journey. And you've got to get deep into this craft. Just like Kobe Bryant said, that he loves failure. I need to fail. I need to miss that shot, the game-winning shot. Because boy, man, you know what I'm doing on practice in the court tomorrow, Monday morning, Sunday morning, whenever it is, the day after, I'm going to be practicing that free throw like madness. That's what you need. Self-belief doesn't really have a lot to do with it. It's just what you focus on, how you approach your racing. And if you start to play the game like an AI robot would, where they take a knock, they readjust and go again. Another thing I keep saying, you approach your racing like that, take what's just come to you, learn and apply. There's no beating you. You'll be at your best. And if it's not good enough for the career that you want, at least you find the truth. That's what it's all about. We need to find the truth. You go to next race weekend, Dean and everybody else, go and find the truth.